All right, guys, welcome back to the CS Classroom. Today what we're going to do is learn how to create PySimpleGUI applications that can display information in different languages. So right here, for example, we've got English, Chinese, French, and Spanish. Now, what we're going to do is we can just select, for example, Chinese, click Next, and then we have some text in Chinese. So we can type in our name, and then we'll get a message with some English and some Chinese, basically saying welcome to PySimpleGUI. And we can do that with any of the languages that we have there. So let's go ahead and let's get started. I'm just going to run the demo application so we can kind of look at it side by side while we are writing the code for it. So there's going to be two components. First, we're going to have the code to write the actual app. And then we're going to have another Python file, which in this case is called language dicts. And what this has right here is the text in English and the text in a foreign language that corresponds to each language. So for example, right here, we have lang dict zh Chinese or CN, and we have the English, and then we have the Mandarin on the other side. And this is a dictionary data structure. So we've got 4 dictionaries, one corresponding to just English, to Chinese, to French, and to Spanish. Now, I just want to point out again, this is a dictionary. We have this isn't actually necessarily the English, but these are tags that refer to specific pieces of text. And I'll go into kind of how this works and what this is once we get the app going. So let's go ahead and let's import PySimpleGUI as SG. And then what we're going to do is we're going to import all of these dictionaries from language dict. So from our language dicts module. So we're going to say from language dicts import lang dict n, lang dict zhcn. I think I'm probably going to do that. Lang dict fr for French, and lang dict es. And right here, if you wanted to, you could create additional dictionaries for additional languages. Just make sure that they have the same tags. They have the same English tags. These are tags as all of the other dictionaries. So we've imported our data for all 4 languages right here, and we're also going to create some tags that correspond to each one. So we'll say lang dicts equals en. This is going to be kind of a quick way to refer to these different dictionaries within our application. All right here we need to do this as well. Let's say lang dict zhcn, and then I'll go ahead and kind of do that. And then for Spanish, we'll have lang dict. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So that's loading our dictionaries into our main Python file where we're running the code for this application. So now that we've done that, we're going to create the layout just for our first window right here where we're selecting our language. We're going to call that lang selection layout. And in there, we're going to have some text, sg.text. Select your language. sg.radio, English. So we're creating multiple radio buttons for each one of the languages that we want to utilize. We're going to call that lang. And then we're going to have a key. So we're going to say key equals en. And notice these keys are corresponding to the keys in this dictionary up here. English is going to be the default. You can make whichever one the default that you would like. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this 3 more times to correspond to all of our languages. We're going to have so this is going to be Chinese, which I can't really type, so I'm just going to copy it from the demo. I actually got this demo from the PySimpleGUI documentation, so I'll include the link in the description, and if you want more information, you can check that out. Again, French as a character, I can't quite type in my keyboard. Just gonna paste that right here. And Spanish as well, Español. Okay, so we've got that. These are just our labels. We want to change our keys to, I'll copy that again. We want to change our keys right here to match our keys in our lang.dicts dictionary. So we're going to have fr and then es. We need to include some commas right here. And finally, we want to have a next button. So we're going to have sg.button next, and then size equals 10:1. And now what we're going to do is we're actually just going to create the event loop for this specific window. And it's actually like not, so what we're going to do right here is we're going to say event values equals lang selection window dot read. So we're actually not really evaluating this like continuously. We're just getting like one input and then allowing the user to enter the next button. Also, I need to create that lang selection window, don't I? Say lang selection window equals sg.window. Select your language, lang selection layout. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that matches up to that right there. So right here, we're just literally just having the user select something and getting a next button and moving on. So we're not even going to use an event loop, really. We're just going to say for language selected in values of items. And by values, we're referring to the different keys. If selected, so we're getting not only the language, so the key that was selected, but also a Boolean as to whether it was selected at all. So for example, if we selected Francés, then we would have fr, and then we would have true. So if selected, selected language equals lang.dicts and then language. So if we selected French, we'd have lang.dicts and then we'd have fr right in here. And also right here, I should have a comma rather than an underscore. So now all this checks out. And then lang selection window dot close. So again, just to repeat, we don't really have an event loop right here because we're just going to click next and then just move on. There's no like repeated interactivity that's going to happen right here. We could have used an event loop if we wanted to, but we're not going to. So now what we're going to do is so let's say we selected Francés. We're going to move on to this part right here. Okay. And we're going to create the window for that. So we can say main layout equals sg.text selected language. So selected language is what we set right here. And that's going to correspond to the dictionary for whichever language we have chosen. In this case, it's going to be this one. And then we're going to use the tag. So selected language. So for this one right here, for this text, we're going to have selected language and then ask name, which is just corresponding to this one right here. Just language ask name. Okay, cool. Move on to the next line. We're just going to have an input. We're just going to say sg.input. Move this right up here. and key or equals that. Key equals input. Following the typical PySimpleGUI format for keys. Next, we're going to have two buttons. Or actually, we'll have some text underneath right here, because remember, right here, we're going to have some text. And so we'll have sg.text size equals 41. And that text is going to be determined in our event loop. We're going to give this a key of output. And finally, we're going to have I guess that's like an agree or yes button and a quit button, or okay and quit. Should go right back here. Yeah. So we're going to have a quit button and an okay button. And we will go ahead and create that. We'll just say sg.button. Okay. And then, so that's corresponding to this one right here. And then we'll have sg.button quit. And that one is corresponding, I'll just use double quotation marks, doesn't make a difference, but it just looks weird. And that one's going to correspond to this one right here. So now that we've done that, what we want to do is actually write the event loop to run this, and then to input the text for our text field right here, this one right here. So we're going to go ahead and create an event loop. We're going to say while true, event values equals window.read. And we actually need to create a window for this main layout. So we're going to say window, window equals sg.window, selected language. So again, we're going to be using something from our designated language. Selected language, title, and again, that's going to correspond to the title key right here. And once we've done that, we're going to just put the layout in here. This layout, our main layout that we just created. And now that we've done that, we're going to just allow the user to close the application if they would like to. So win close, or window close rather. Well, I think win close probably works. Or event equals selected language, quit, just corresponding to this text right here. So if someone clicks this, then it'll obviously know to quit despite the language, and break. So now what I want to do is I want to actually trigger this to display when the user clicks this button or this button. Before I do that, I want to correct something right here. This should be selected language, okay, and this should be selected language, quit. So that way we're displaying these messages in the appropriate language. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if event equals selected language, okay, or rather elif, right? That's what we normally do. Then I'm going to go ahead and create this message right here. So I'm going to say window output .update. I guess I'm terrible at spelling. Update selected language. We're going to have hello. We're going to greet the user, because actually what this is asking you to do is type in your name, so like bonjour, and then whatever your name is right there. As you can tell, my French is non-existent. Okay, and then we're going to have a space followed by a like the name. So we've got hello and then the name. So we're going to have values, input. And then what we're going to do, I just need to put this on another line. We're going to just display a thank you message. So we're going to display selected language, followed by thanks. That should look something like that. I'll go ahead and put this right here. And then we're going to have window.close. So I'm going to close the demo. Actually, I'll save that. Close the demo. And I'm just going to run this right here. So let's see what we can troubleshoot, what works, what doesn't. So let's choose French. And we've got a problem. It says dict object is not callable. So we put selected language quit right here. That's going to be in line 28. So that means there's a problem right here. So let's see, we've got quit. Let's see about French right here. Okay. Oh, right here, these should be square brackets, right? Because we're accessing a value from a dictionary. So that's probably going to be our first problem. Let's try and run that again. Cool. Okay, we're gonna have let's try French. Got this right here. Okay, dict object is not callable. So again, right here we have another problem. This should be a square bracket referring to the dictionary. Let's give this another try. All right, and again, the event. I guess I just got my parentheses and square brackets messed up today. Hopefully that's the last error. Let's try it one more time. French. Okay, and that seems to work. So I guess the message from this troubleshooting is don't get your parentheses and your square brackets mixed up. So anyways, that's how you can utilize multiple languages in an application, also called internationalization. If you'd like to add actually more languages, you can just do that in your languages.dict file, and you just copy this and substitute whatever language-specific phrase you have for these tags right here. Or you could additionally add more tags depending on the size of your application, or depending on what text you want to display in your application. If you would like to see more tutorials like this, please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Have a nice day.